Thank you, Professor Jain. So what you've done is you've painted a picture of how all of this comes together, now how all of this works. My 2 cents of value add for your coming here, maybe we should look at MD PhD programs, which is very, actually the MD PhDs are the ones who catalyze medical research in the US. And I think we should create a cadre of MD PhDs, and I shouldn't speak for the director, but the dean of research is here. Maybe we can collaborate with your program and provide our engineering faculty to support the aspirations of MDs and further that as well. Thank you so much. I would request our panelists, I think, no, that's fine. I think we kind of shortened it, but also I'm really very conscious about this time, especially when Dr. Shai Merchant showed up exactly on time that many of my faculty colleagues hadn't. And when you do surgeries, when you do medical treatment, as I say, stitching time saves nine. So I think let's, in that a little bit shorter, really, what we do is we get longer statements we recorded and we'll share with the faculty and others as well. I think all of you have immense experience to contribute to this dialogue, and we'll do that. So with that, Professor Hiremath.
So I'm from academic background, but I also work in industry. The recent trend shows that most of the products with the term of AI, which are driven by large data sets. So academic institutions will play a major role in developing any AI-based products, in the sense that they will have a huge amount of data that need to be used for developing any product with artificial intelligence. And also it reduces the, in terms of any innovations, it reduces the time. That's how much time that you want to visualize. If you see most of the top companies in the world nowadays, they will not do much research, but they take the research from different academic institutions. They will try to integrate. They release the new product in timely. That's very important because the markets are changing, so they have to produce the product instead of looking for the new research component that already exists with the many academic institutions. It's the right time to collaborate with most of the academic institutions in India or Abu Dhabi or UAE. So to address the major challenge nowadays, what I noticed in my research work, that when we started, something is called health monitoring devices with false alarm detections. That's the most important. We are talking about AI, but too many false alarms that we can see in the real world. So we mainly focus on false alarm. We thought that we are the only people who just started false alarm. There is no value only generating a research paper, but we were approached by many industries how to reduce the false alarms. So they have taken most of our algorithms, they integrated for animal and the human health monitoring system. So you will always find academic or we can say research-based product development will have much value. It will be a sustainable process.
Thank you so much for that. I think the type 1, type 2 errors are critical in healthcare initiatives. Professor should not need mic. I think his value comes from making himself or herself heard. So thank you very much for that. Those pointers. And I think industry is always very time sensitive and market trends change. But also our needs in society, as Professor Glenn was saying, keeps evolving rapidly and shifting, especially the way we saw it evolving. Thank you so much for those words.
Yes, I'm going to give you a story of an entrepreneur and his motivation in healthcare. The incident was my father's health during COVID. He is a stickler for discipline and having short hair, and we kept him away from outside world for a long time. He was 90 years old. Then in comes a barber, which my father is insisting that his hair be cut, and my mother couldn't help it. She let him in, and that's it. In 1 week, all hell broke loose. That is when I realized the need for having, robotics involved in geriatric care, which can help our parents who made us what we are. That's the spiritual aspect of the motivation. So when I went into the humanoid robotics subject with my colleagues across the globe, the issue came about the safety of the batteries inside. So I said, I'm a child accountant, I don't want to focus on cosmetic element of it, I want to focus on the battery side. So that is when I observed that we are in electric mobility, where we are using batteries, and there is one battery technology called as lithium titanate oxide. It's an LTO battery which can operate between -40 and +70 degrees in the high temperature and humidity any temperature or humidity conditions. But the form factor was very large. It was made only for trucks or buses. So the battery is one of the safest in the world. It's been there for the last 25 years. But the technology the form factor was so big it cannot get inside a home. So that's when we worked with a Norwegian company to develop an alternative to the lithium component, replacing with a common element which can reduce the cost and which can also reduce the form factor, where it can increase the density of the battery, where more power can be stored. And the best part of it, it can be charged in less than 1 minute, which means it makes it's a non-explosive. And now coming back to once we are finished with the technology, we are working with the Taiwanese scientific community there and the Norwegian and the American side of the story. But your question of how the academia can help, okay, I made a very great, lovely product. I know, I believe in it. We put in money, we have invested millions to develop it. But then the normal consumer needs validation, and the validation has to come from the academia. So nobody would believe me, because a common user of the product would look at my motivation as money, not my father's ill health and what happened to me. That's not a story I can sell to the world. But academia like you, take up the product. I can say this is tested by Pilani, it's been tested by IIT, Algard. So when the people tend to believe, so then the product to be sold to the wide world is much easier. So I have touched your point of the spirituality coming from within my own love for my father, my parents, and the entrepreneurship for putting the money where your mouth is. And then the application and the use that academia can help, validating the product, validating the data that we have, so that the consumer at large is able to buy that product without any reservation. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for essentially stress testing all ideas, stress testing products,